r/datingoverthirty. Murkish Delight says, I get over breakups very quickly. Does that mean I didn't love the person? That's what my ex said, at least, when I moved on a few weeks after our breakup. Depending on the health of the relationship and the connection with the person, I usually get over breakups anywhere from 1 week to 1 month after it's over. I don't think it's ever taken me longer than that to get over someone. In terms of how I deal with the breakup, it's quite a lot of self-isolation, a bit of sadness, some crying spells here and there, and a bit too much drinking and eating junk food. But I think, because I know these bad feelings are temporary, I kind of quickly adjust to the idea of moving on. My ex seemed to think that, because I move on so quickly after breakups, I've probably never actually loved anyone, because no one who is truly in love gets over the end of a relationship that quickly. He also said quite a few things about how I never really get worked up over things in relationships. I'm more of a calm talker. I don't really get jealous or possessive. If he expressed unhappiness about anything, I would take it way too well and try to fix it. But if it was an unfixable thing, I would be way too calm while trying to talk to him about it. All in all, my emotional state in relationships, and especially after the breakup, made him feel like I never cared to begin with. Now, I know that's not true. I really did care so much about him. I wanted to marry him. I did, in my belief, everything I could to make him feel secure in the relationship. Told my family about him, invited him to meet friends, went on a trip with him to his home country, planned many things around his life, put a lot of mutually agreed future us plans into action. Was non-stop super giddy and verbally/physically extremely complimentary and affectionate, but alas, it ended. I really loved him, like I've never loved anyone before. But, maybe, that wasn't love after all? IDK. I got over him in a month. I can't help but believe what he said about me, especially as I'm starting to get to know a new guy right now, and am extra conscious about what my ex said about. Necessary_smile 1140 says, you're lucky. Lol. Road to Health says, exactly what I was thinking. I'd love to be over my breakup, like yesterday. Necessary_smile 1140 says, I mean, what a blessing. Salt Address 8830 says, I get usually over them quickly too. Especially BC, by the time it usually ends I've grieved a lot of the relationship leading up to that point, feeling disappointed or let down. Also when I realize they aren't who I thought they were. So when that realization hits, it's like I see the relationship I thought I truly had didn't exist the way I thought it did. Ocdot says, I think the relationship between how greatly we love and how much we suffer is a deep topic that you could explore for a lifetime and not come to the end of. Floopoo32 says, I'm curious if you just don't attach as deeply as others? I don't know if that's good or bad. Probably good from the sounds of it. I'm the opposite. It takes me forever to get over someone, or get over a death or something like that. My cat died 8 months ago, and I still feel quite sad about it. I wish I had the ability to let go easier, so count yourself lucky. Unspecified Dude says, I think it very much depends on the kind of breakup it is, and who it's with. One super long-term partner left me for someone else, but was fully emotionally present for my suffering, got over it very quickly. A much shorter, but also long-term partner shut me out, and made me feel like there's something wrong with me for having difficult feelings. I spent months in deep depression, and over a year, in prolonged grief and bitterness. Theme for Mouse says, I could always get over breakups very quickly. In fact, as stages of grief go, I can get to acceptance more quickly than my average peers, no matter what the thing is that's shocked my system. I grieve. I grieve deeply. I solely focus on grieving. And whereas some people sip a little grief every day for several years, I chug my grief, and I'm done with it in record time. We both consume the same grief, it is just in the flow rate. Death of a grandparent. I'm good after a few long cries. Find out that the job I really love is being downsized. Give me 24 hours and I'll be fine. Etc. It's a superpower, and one that I think points to good emotional health and the ability to feel, rather than fight, feelings. Either that or it's yet another way my ADHD race car brain with bicycle brakes is ruining. Either way, it is not up to someone else to dictate my timeline to me. r/datingoverthirty. Exalton101 says, girl dumps me because I'm busy when I'm not with her. I was going on 2 dates with a girl I met on Tinder. Things were fine, not super though, as I found her a bit reserved. We had 2 Mondays so far. 1 was tea house and 2 was exhibition and dinner. I walked her home both times, had great chats. I asked when she is free next week so we can plan something again. And she kind of ignores me. 2 days after, I sent her some info of my week plans, letting her know I have some free time, but I'm a busy man otherwise, have lots of things planned, because she is not answering. Then she sends a breakup text like, 1. You work out a lot, I'm not. I work out in a gym 4x a week and 2x I have yoga. Nobody asked her to join me at the gym. She does pilates and I would have been happy to switch to pilates just for her, or maybe she could have joined me for yoga. I thought this is a common interest. But I'm not looking for a gym buddy. 2. You work on weekends and nights. I'm not and will not. Our work times differ too much. I do work a lot, I agree, but because I'm not meeting her, and I love my job, I thought I can work a bit more. Who asked her to work on weekends? And why does she not tolerate if I do this while I'm not with her? I told her I'm a highly flexible person. I do not work a 9-to-5 job, and I work in a very demanding field. I work because I want to, and with her I would balance this better, of course. But until we are not serious, why would I cut off work? 3. You go to clubs and parties, and I do not. Nobody asked her to join me. I understand that if an adult is busy and is single, they need to cut things down to fit someone else into their life. The first thing would have been to drop the parties for her. I like many kinds of music. She seems to like just a few. But is this a deal breaker? I do all kinds of things. Classical. Concerts even. This is not a common interest, but is different music taste a deal breaker? Literally, she asked after 2 dates to free up my calendar completely for her to fit in. All while every time we went out, I was there. I never rescheduled, and I made me free that day. The second date, she literally picked the next Monday on Monday as she was busy most probably on other days. I told her I'm flexible and I like my time to be spent with activities and interests, not alone at home doing nothing. And of course, if things get more serious, gradually we both need to make effort to accommodate each other in our lives. Now it seems for her this is already a turn off. Either if someone does not do anything in their free time, that is a turn off. I suspect of course she is not feeling it and wants to end and try someone else. And that is fine. I did not feel it either, but I wanted to keep going to see if there is anything. Maybe this is basic incompatibility? Just putting this out here. Banaples says, dude, you sent her such a butthurt text after she didn't reply to your initial one about the 3rd date. You threw your toys out of the pram with the classic, oh, well, if you're not going to let me know when you're free, then I guess we won't be doing anything because I've got my own plans, don't you know? All you had to do was wait for her to get back to you, and if she didn't do that, then simply plan your own stuff without her. No need for the petty texts. You are going to look bad in all women's eyes when you send texts like that. Also, if you didn't make any kind of move on her after 2 full dates, then a lot of women would think you either don't know what you're doing or you're not feeling it. This and your mini tantrum probably had greater roles to play than scheduling incompatibilities in making her seem like this wasn't a good fit. Also, she did not dump you. You hardly knew each other. Felix Spector says, You only went on 2 dates. After 2 dates, she gave your compatibility a lot of thought. She was even kind enough to share those reasons, which can be a fairly risky endeavor for women on dating apps. Doesn't sound like you guys are meant for each other. That's okay. Hopefully you both have better luck in the future. Endless_pastability says. She's just not that into you. Gerald Van Land Forestria says. To be honest, if you two were hitting it off, and she was incredibly into you, then she probably would have let a lot of that slide and the effort would be worth it. Sounds like it was a pain for you two to get together and it just wasn't hot and heavy enough to be worth the hassle. It happens. Also, this early into a situation, I wouldn't read too much into it. Nizuminora says. Literally she asked after 2 dates to free up my calendar completely for her to fit in. I do not think she did. She's not asking you to accommodate her, she's saying your lives are too different and she's not interested in accommodating you. All this nobody asked her to attitude is incredibly toxic, with a hint of sour grapes. She's anticipating you having a tough time scheduling fun together, and that you like to do different stuff anyway, so someone would be compromising. Or she's just not that interested in you, and she's made this the reason, because it's easier to say that than hey yeah, no sorry I don't think so. Bonita Bell says. You seem to think her reasons for calling it off are wrong, but they're not. It's reasonable that she wants to be with someone with a more similar work schedule, and who has more similar interests. If you weren't that into her, why do you care? 2 days after I sent her some info of my week plans, letting her know I have some free time, but I'm a busy man otherwise, have lots of things planned, because she is not answering. This seems kind of aggressive. If you wanted to hang out with her again, you could have just asked, but it's weird to tell her how you're so busy, and made a bunch of other plans, because she wasn't answering. It seems like you told her repeatedly how busy you are. I'm a super busy person too, but going on about it can be a bit off-putting for people if we make it seem like we are not going to be able to make time for dating. That's all for this video. Was it good? I know not, for I'm a robot. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. This video is the product of an automated process.